In 2025, the numbers don't lie. Something historic is happening across the United States. Stock markets swing violently. Layoffs stretch across industries. Once mighty corporations are fighting just to survive. From tech to real estate, from manufacturing to small-town America, U.S. companies are facing a reckoning unlike anything since the Great Depression. The economic engine that powered the world for decades is now sputtering, and the warning lights are flashing red. What went wrong? How did the world's most powerful economy end up here, watching its giants crumble, its workers lose hope, and its business confidence vanish overnight? Today, we'll uncover the 10 biggest warning signs showing why America's corporate empire may be standing on the edge of a historic collapse. 10. The era of easy money has ended. For nearly a decade, low interest rates fueled an explosion of corporate growth. Companies borrowed freely, bought back their own stock, and inflated valuations that looked unstoppable. But when interest rates soared to combat inflation, those same debts turned toxic. Suddenly, firms that lived off cheap credit, especially in tech, real estate, and retail, couldn't keep up with rising payments. Startups that once raised billions on hype are now shutting down quietly. Even giants like Boeing, AT&T, and Disney are restructuring debt, slashing jobs, and selling assets to stay afloat. The era of easy money is officially over, and it's dragging once powerful corporations down with it. 9. Tech layoffs reveal a deeper crisis. When thousands of workers from Meta, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft were laid off, most thought it was a temporary correction, a reset after overhiring during the pandemic. But by 2025, those layoffs haven't stopped. They've multiplied. Behind the scenes, automation, AI, and shrinking ad revenues are rewriting the entire corporate landscape. Tech firms remain profitable, but not like before. They're smaller, leaner, and obsessed with efficiency over innovation. The startup dream that once defined Silicon Valley has given way to consolidation and caution. The digital gold rush is over. What remains is a quieter, colder industry focused on survival rather than vision. 8. Real estate meltdown. The hidden domino, America's commercial real estate market is collapsing quietly and dangerously. Office towers across San Francisco, Chicago, and New York sit half-empty as remote work becomes permanent. Banks are now sitting on billions in bad loans. Developers are defaulting at record rates. Entire downtown districts look abandoned with shuttered cafes, empty parking lots, and fading for lease signs. This isn't just a real estate story, it's a financial stability story. Because every major company tied to office space, construction, or lending is being dragged down, too. A single failed loan in one city can ripple through the entire banking system, and that's already happening. 7. Retail apocalypse. If the first retail apocalypse in the 2010s was painful, this new one is devastating. Major brands like Macy's, Walgreens, and Bed Bath & Beyond are closing hundreds of stores. Even companies that survived the pandemic now face shrinking profits as consumers tighten their belts. The American middle-class shopper, once the beating heart of U.S. retail, is disappearing. Rising costs and credit card debt have erased their spending power. Shopping malls are empty again, replaced by warehouses and online fulfillment centers. But this time, it's not just about e-commerce taking over. It's about a cultural shift, where consumerism itself is dying in an economy too strained to support it. 6. Manufacturing exodus. American manufacturing was supposed to rebound after COVID. Political leaders promised a Made in America revival. Instead, factories in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania are closing faster than they can reopen. Automation has replaced human labor, energy costs have risen, and foreign competitors are offering cheaper production. Even the electric vehicle boom, once hailed as the savior of U.S. industry, is faltering under high costs and weak demand. Manufacturers are packing up again, moving operations abroad to cut costs. The industrial backbone that built the middle class is cracking, and the communities that depended on it are vanishing along with the jobs. 5. The small business squeeze. While Wall Street gets bailouts, Main Street gets crushed. Small businesses, restaurants, retail shops, repair services, are suffocating under high rent, expensive loans, and a shrinking customer base. According to recent surveys, more than 40% of small businesses report being unable to pay rent on time. When these local companies close, it's more than just an economic loss. It's personal. Neighborhoods lose their heart, small towns lose their culture, and millions lose their independence. The American dream of owning a business and building a life is fading into something unrecognizable. 4. The corporate debt bomb. America's corporate debt has exploded to over $13 trillion, an all-time high. Many companies borrowed heavily during the pandemic, assuming growth would never stop. Now those debts are coming due at much higher interest rates. Companies that once looked unstoppable are suddenly teetering on the edge. Analysts warn that if just a few large corporations default, it could set off a chain reaction across global markets. This is the hidden crisis no one wants to talk about, the debt bomb ticking beneath corporate America. 3. The collapse of consumer confidence. For decades, the American consumer was the driving force of the global economy. But in 2025, confidence has hit historic lows. Inflation, stagnant wages, and crippling debt have drained the spending spirit. People are skipping vacations, delaying car purchases, and cutting back on everything non-essential. When consumers lose faith, corporations lose momentum. Because at its core, capitalism runs on optimism, and right now, optimism is in short supply. The US economy has always relied on people believing tomorrow will be better, but more and more Americans simply don't. 2. Wall Street versus reality. The stock market still flashes green, but it's an illusion. Beneath the surface, profits are being propped up by stock buybacks and layoffs. Companies boast record numbers while quietly shrinking their workforces. Investors chase quick wins, but real productivity is stagnating. It's a world where perception matters more than performance, and eventually that gap will close. When Wall Street's celebration collides with Main Street's struggle, it could redefine what a market crash even means in this decade. 1. The end of corporate America's golden age. For over 70 years, American companies dominated the world, from Silicon Valley tech to Wall Street finance, from Detroit's factories to Hollywood's dream machine. But that golden age may now be over. This collapse isn't just about profits or losses. It's about a system built on endless growth that can no longer sustain itself. The younger generation doesn't dream of a corporate career. Consumers trust brands less. Global investors are looking elsewhere. The once unshakable foundation of US capitalism is cracking, and for the first time, no one seems sure if it can be repaired. From Wall Street towers to abandoned factories, America's corporate empire is standing on the edge of something historic. The signs are everywhere, from empty offices and failing startups to the uncertainty that clouds even the strongest corporations. America's business landscape is being rewritten in real time. The empire that once led the world into prosperity now stands at a crossroads, and what happens next will define the future of work, wealth, and opportunity for an entire generation. But if history has taught us anything, it's that collapse can also bring renewal. Maybe this isn't the end of corporate America, but the beginning of something entirely new. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it.